now. It
Ooh, that's
says
a
that
good
it's
game face.
preparing the live stream. And I think that we're probably almost live. It says it's redirecting to Facebook, and we're good to go. Woo! Oh my goodness, wasn't sure we were going to get the Facebook Live to work this time. All kinds of technical difficulties with Facebook Live, but here we are. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the February 1st Friday Facebook Live on the Ask a Bookkeeper show. Our mission on Ask a Bookkeeper is to take the big, intimidating ideas that often scare business owners away from following their dreams, and we simplify them and turn them into just another fun part of running a small business. So think of us kind of like Sesame Street for business owners, complete with the puppets, which is especially today. Our show is largely crowdfunded, which is why we're not advertising or thanking any sponsors today. So if this information is helpful to you and you want to see this show succeed, please visit askabookkeeper.com and hit the button to donate. From there, you can also access our YouTube channel and our Facebook group, and you can catch past episodes and participate in the ongoing discussions that will help your business succeed. So pretty please subscribe to us on YouTube, and be sure to tell your friends how awesome this is. I'm your co-host, Ingrid Edstrom, here with my co-host, Penny the Practical Professional.
Hi, everyone. And this week we have a real live human.
Right.
Hi, Ingrid.
And I'm so excited to introduce our special guest today. Fooble the Dragon is calling in all the way from the land of dreams, and we're going to talk with Fooble about his experience of business ownership as a dragon. So Fooble, welcome to the Ask a Bookkeeper show. Perhaps we could begin by having you tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and what you do in your work.
Oh, hi. So, yeah, my name is Fooble the Dragon. I'm a Lemurian dream dragon. I come from the land of dreams. And for my work, I come to this world, to the human realm, and I go to schools, and we do like puppet making programs and puppet shows. And then sometimes I go to festivals and parties and stuff like that. And so my job, what I'm here to do is to bring imagination. To remind people that we can make our own fun, and then we can like do what we love to do and have a great time doing it.
Ooh, that sounds really amazing.
I enjoy
it. Fantastic gig, Fooble. So how did you land this amazing job? I mean, you, of course, you're a business owner, so you created the job for yourself, but like, what inspired you to start doing the work that you're doing?
Well, let's see. I work a lot with a wizard friend of mine, and when the wizard was traveling with some Canadian elves, a group called Mythmaker, he realized that a bunch of kids would come to our shows, and they really wanted to get involved. They wanted to be part of the show. They didn't just want to watch a show. They wanted to talk to the performers, and they wanted to interact and to do things with us, not just watch us. And so my wizard friend, he was like, you know what? We need an opportunity for the kids to play along. And so he started summoning dragons. And I was one of the dragons that my wizard friend called in. And since then, that's been our focus. Is like, how do we get people involved in the creative process instead of just, doing a show and moving on? We want to like be the show with everybody.
Nice.
And,
yeah, that sounds really amazing.
Once I did that, I had started looking for places to bring that forward, to give it to the world. And I decided that schools were going to be one of the best places to do that, because we really need more art in our schools. And I've never been the best at marketing myself, so I decided that what I needed was a business partner. And so I found a nonprofit organization called the Lane Arts Council that specializes in getting artists into schools. And so I went to work with them, and now they do a lot of my booking for my school gigs. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. I just get to like be me and have fun and do all of that. So delegation, that's how I did it.
Delegation!
That's great. Excellent. Bummer Gator's not here.
Yeah, right?
He would love this.
He's all about delegation.
Have all the puppets on the show all the time.
That's a great idea.
So the Lane Arts Council, is that Lane County in Oregon?
Yeah, here in Eugene, Oregon, Lane County, the Lane Arts Council has been getting art into the community and into the schools for over 40 years now, and they're really reputable. They've been doing good work, and it's a really good ally. But a lot of different counties have some sort of arts council that has a semi-governmental function, in that they work with the local governments and schools in order to bring art forward.
So it's like a local version of like National Endowment for the Arts and things like that. That's
Exactly.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
So because we've got quite a few artists in our group who are working to make it as business owners, and it would be a great tool for all of you in the audience who are doing artistic things to see if you can find out what the local councils are in your area that you might be able to collaborate with. That's fantastic.
Excellent. So what kind of arts do you do with the kids to really like encourage them and nurture their young minds?
Well, let's see. Usually, when I work with classes, I do 4 sessions with each class. In the first session, I just come in and meet the kids. We hang out, we tell stories and jokes, and we laugh and play and stuff, just to get everybody excited. And then the next 2 sessions, my wizard, he helps the kids to learn how to make their own puppets. And we do all different kinds of styles of puppet making. We've done shadow puppets, we've done sock puppets, we've done like fuzzy Muppet style puppets, we've done rod puppets. We even one time they made a 30-foot long giant parade dragon with like middle school kids. It was so fun. Yeah. And then the last day of our class, I come back into the class and I interview every puppet that all the different kids have made. So like each kid gets a chance to like shine for a little bit.
Wow. Do you do video recordings on that? Because I bet that would be classic.
Sometimes teachers do some video recordings, but often it can be kind of tricky because some kids can't be videotaped. Like it's
Sure.
like, for various, protection reasons and things like that.
Yeah,
So I generally don't personally videotape my interviews with the kids just to avoid any kind of kerfuffles.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, do you remember that old show, Kids Say the Darndest Things?
Oh, yeah.
I bet you could come up with some really amazing sketches with that.
Yeah, you would not believe some of the stuff that I've heard in my class. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
Can you share some stories with us?
Oh, well, let's see. One of my favorites. This was totally took me by surprise. This one kid, so she made her puppet. The puppet was a sock puppet. It was all brown. I had this like a kind of sad face on it, big eyes. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Fooble. What's your name?" She's like, "I'm Potato Momo." And if any of you know, Momo was like this internet goblin that was like supposed to, it was a really scary kind of thing for a while. But she was a potato Momo. And I was like, "Wow, Potato Momo. Well, tell me a little about yourself." And she's like, "Well, I'm kind of scary, and I can turn into a potato." I was like, "Whoa, that's really cool." So we talked a little bit, and then she asked me a couple of questions, and all of a sudden she's just like, "Ah!" And she just disappeared. Just totally fell out. I was like, "Whoa, Momo, are you okay?" And then this real potato with googly eyes on it pops up. And she did the rest of the interview as a potato. Wow. That was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
When that happened, I was just like, "Child, go forth. I can teach you no more."
The student has become the master.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That
That's
is fantastic.
So you're talking a lot about inspiration and stories, and like these are things that we cover a lot on this show as well. The stories particularly, and I'm curious, what is the story that you have? Like you're creating a lot of stories and bringing them out of the kids and things like that. But what is the story of Fooble and like where you come from and mostly why you do what you do personally?
That's a good question. So I'm a Lemurian dream dragon, as I was saying, and every different dragon has a different elemental power. And some dragons, like myself, we have more than one. I am a fire-breathing dragon. I can breathe fire. I am not allowed to breathe fire at schools, though, because then if I breathe fire, it would set off the fire alarms. They call the fire department, and I would get fired.
Generally frowned on, yeah.
Yeah. So instead of using my fire powers, I use the power of inspiration. My element is inspiration, is dreams and imagination. And so really, like, that's what I'm made of. That is the stuff of me. Yeah. If imagination was fluff, that's what I'm stuffed with. Yeah. And
That's great.
And so what I do is I try to create an environment in which the kids understand that like their imaginations are free to roam. Like there's no wrong answers in art. You can just imagine what you want to do and we'll find a way to do it. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Wow. Okay.
Well, and that's kind of a similar thing that we often like to say here on Ask a Bookkeeper is, find what you love to do and make that your primary vocation if you can.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things that, is going through my mind as you're talking about, fantastic stories with puppets and playing with kids and potatoes, is you get paid for this.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
It's awesome.
I mean, that's like right up there with the reason we are working here on Ask a Bookkeeper to make the world a better place, built on a foundation of thriving small businesses, is because I believe that if more people were making good money, people and dragons, that's an all-inclusive people, if more people were making good money doing what they love to do, that lo and behold, we would be surrounded by happier, healthier people. And that is the world that I want to live in.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
And what's more, if a larger portion of our global economy was made up of thriving small businesses, that's something that our legislators need to listen to. So we are working to create active change in our world by doing what we love to do. And that's what you're doing in schools, bringing that inspiration and teaching kids from a very young age that they can do whatever they set their minds and hearts and imagination to do. And that is so important.
Even if that means animating potatoes.
Yeah.
Especially, in fact.
Especially, yeah.
So how about some more of the like slightly logistical side of small business kinds of things? I know you were talking about the Lane arts community and how they do a lot of your school bookings for you. What about like your private parties? Does the wizard do the bookings for you? Like which parts do you manage and which parts does he manage? Do you get to just kind of be the star and, or do you have to do any of the logistical stuff?
Well, I'm kind of I'm the front man, I'm the singer of the band, if you know what I mean. So like a lot of times people will contact me through Facebook or email, and they write to me. They don't write to my wizard. But then I make him go like write down stuff on the calendar and like check to make sure we don't have any conflicts. I don't do any of that stuff. He's my roadie.
Got it.
So, you don't do much with technology and computers then, Fooble?
Well, I've only got these 2 fingers on each hand, so I'm a really slow typer. I'm really slow about it. Yeah. But
nice.
I know those feels. Yep.
Well, you've got a great setup with your camera and sound, so that seems to be working for you.
Thank you. That's one of the good parts about having a wizard around is he can take care of all that technical stuff and make it all invisible. And I can just come out and be like, wah!
I was really, really interested in that backdrop you have. Like, are you broadcasting directly from the land of dreams?
Yeah, live from the land of dreams, man. It's really, we didn't used to have very good internet service here, but lately it started to bleed through the veil. Maybe it's that 5G you guys are kicking.
Oh, there you go. More people are dreaming about the internet, I guess.
Yeah, probably. That's it. I think the Wi-Fi signals are getting into your brains while you sleep.
Oh boy.
Well, as for me, I'm broadcasting from the land of greens. Yeah. It's not bad.
Does that put me in the land of dragonflies?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Nice. So how about other logistical bits and pieces? So when it comes to, I guess, the revenue side of this, and Fooble, as I understand it, you're an aurorivore. So you don't have to go to the grocery store and buy food and stuff like that. But of course, you do have to support your roadie, so to speak. So like as far as this being a lucrative vocation, this is your full-time gig as well as the full-time gig for the wizard.
Yes.
So, I mean, clearly that's working for you.
It's been working great. The wizard, he tried a lot of side gigs over the years and, he, made it by, but this is the first time that we've ever really like got in a niche that really seems to be supporting us and growing and enabling us to live the way we want to live. It's been pretty amazing. The wizard, he does most of my bookkeeping and banking and all that kind of stuff. Mostly I just like try to amass a pile of treasure and sleep on it, because as a dragon, I like to take naps in big piles of treasure. But I'm not greedy. I share it with my wizard and his little wizardlings.
Where do you find the treasure?
Well, mostly people give it to me for being awesome.
Oh,
that's a good gig. That's a real good gig.
It's a pretty good gig. And I try to, especially for the private parties and things like that, like not everybody can always afford like a big pile of gold to get a dragon to come and hang out at their house. So I try to make alternate forms of exchange available to people who need that. So sometimes like different kinds of treasure can be traded for parties and festivals and stuff like that. It doesn't just have to be money, because there's so many different forms of abundance in the world, and whatever one person has in abundance that they might not see as treasure, someone who doesn't have much of that one thing would definitely see it as treasure, because it's more rare in other places.
Yeah,
Definitely. I've often heard people say barter won't pay my mortgage, but on the other hand, if someone gives you like, a pot of soup or something that'll feed you for a few days, you and your family, well, then the money that you would otherwise spend on food, that does pay for your mortgage. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's important to ask for what you need. If you got to pay the rent, you got to ask for a little cash. But if you're cool on rent this month and somebody's offering you a beautiful painting, that could be worth it. That could be a valid form of abundance to accept.
Absolutely.
So beautiful painting is treasure. Do you sleep on the beautiful painting?
No, I don't generally sleep on the paintings. Sometimes I will occasionally lick them. As an aurorivore, I eat rainbows, and so really colorful things I do tend to taste occasionally.
Nice.
So you can lay on your treasure and just gaze at the picture.
Yeah.
So I am curious. A lot of people, they say that they can't give up their day job and pursue their dreams because they're worried about the money situation. And it sounds like you did exactly that. You've really gone full tilt into pursuing your dream and doing the education that you're doing and all of that. So what kind of tips would you have for somebody? Like, would you say go all out? Would you go like part way and just kind of test the waters? What does your experience tell you?
I'd say, treat it like, a plant or an animal. You start small. You start as like a little seed or a little acorn, and you put it in the ground and you nurture it. You let it grow. You let it get bigger. And maybe at the beginning, you don't quit your day job. You just, spend your time as a hobby. And then once you get it good enough, maybe you back off your hours on your day job a little bit. You go to part-time, and then you got to start treating that love as your job. You got to put as much energy into it as your boss would demand from you on some other sort of gig. But the thing is, it's a lot easier to put more energy into something you love. If I spent 8 hours a day, in some sort of office cubicle typing away, I would be a pretty sad dragon.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
It's just not my thing. It's not my natural habitat. But I can spend 8 hours a day in creativity in the land of dreams, making puppets and doing imaginary fun stuff with kids. And at the end of the day, I'm energized. I feel like I've done something with my life, and I feel like the world's a better place because of what I do. And so I would say, whatever works for you. Different situations work for different people, but start small and grow. Just anything you can do to make your gig better. If you need to upgrade your facilities, like I got this cool background and a new camera to do this cool, awesome video stuff with, to just put a little bit of your treasure aside and just a little piece at a time. We don't have to do it all at once.
Sure. Well, and I think you kind of touched on something there also, where a lot of people figure that working for themselves means that the only time that they should be working or are working is time that they're getting paid for. But like you said, you have to do all of the preparation work. This is another one of those places where I'd heard the 80-20 rule. You need to work 80% in your business. No, wait, 80% on your business and 20% in your business.
I think it was the other way around.
Was it? It's something like that. But basically doing the background stuff, you need to do 80% of that for 20% of the stuff where you're actually out there doing, the work for the kids or, all the education stuff. So getting it all prepared. And like musicians, it's the same thing. You gotta practice, you gotta write songs, you gotta do all that stuff. And you don't get paid for that, but then you go out and do a 1-hour gig and get paid $300 or something.
Yeah, and really, the more time and energy you put into preparation, building, for me personally, building a nice puppet theater and having cool lights and all that kind of stuff. Now, the time I spent making that stuff, I didn't get paid for it, but when I bring forward what I do and all of that stuff is there, people see it and they see the value that it has. They can see, wow, this is professional. If this guy was just making it up as he goes, he wouldn't have all this stuff. He would just be, some guy wiggling a doll.
Absolutely. Wiggling a doll.
And that crafting part, I mean, that's an artistic aspect of what you do. You would probably be doing that stuff, whether whether this was your gig or not. When it comes to the back end stuff that maybe you don't enjoy as much, and I understand that you delegate, a lot of the marketing to Lane County, and your wizard does your bookkeeping and those kinds of things. But when it comes to the pieces that maybe you don't enjoy as much, how do you maintain accountability as a small business owner? When you don't have a boss telling you what to do, how do you make sure that you get those things done?
That's a really good question, and that's something I've struggled with for years. I'd much rather be just like hanging out and telling jokes and goofing with my friends and stuff like that. But sometimes I do have to knuckle down and focus. I've got to sit down with my wizard and hash something out. I'm not sure. I think I'm growing in that area right now. I'm growing in that area, and for me, what helps me to do it is making commitments. Like once I've given my word I'm going to do something, it's a lot easier for me to do all the things that I need to do leading up to that.
Yeah.
If I didn't have a gig booked, then I might, procrastinate a lot more. But once I've agreed, okay, by this date, I have to have this thing ready because I've said yes to it. Having given my word, it motivates me because I feel I have to keep that word. I have to be in integrity.
Yeah, deadlines are our friends. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and it also helps to have.
For me.
What was that?
I just said having a deadline is so useful for me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think it also helps to have people who are depending on you. And when you're a small business owner, oftentimes those people, are not coworkers or clients. Sometimes it's, hey, I need to feed my family. And in your case, Fooble, I don't know if you have kids or not, but the wizard that you support has kids, right?
Yeah. So, my wizard's got kids. He's got a whole family. And he does need to take care of them and do all of that. So, for me, it's a real pleasure. It's a real pleasure because he kind of adopted me. He hatched me from an egg and raised me up. So I feel like, it's my family. It's his family. We're all family together. So, it's a pleasure for me to be able to help to feed my family. It's really rad.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, we are about at the top of the hour. So I guess if there was one main thing that you would love to have business owners take away from this, something that business owners can only learn from a business owner dragon, that is just a gem of knowledge that you would love to impart on the world, what would that be?
I would say, the most important thing for me is as we were saying before, is to really do what you love. Because when you love what you do, the results of that are so much stronger. That when you put love into a project, the project will grow much stronger, much faster, and much more powerfully than if you were just kind of phoning it in. It's exponential. The more love you put into what you do, the more success you're going to have. And so just love it and realize how fortunate you are to get to make your own dreams, because that's so amazing. And it's so rare in this world, this day of kind of prepackaged lifestyle. A lot of people buy into a certain expectation of society, and they just go along with it. But if you step out of that and you're brave enough to choose to forge your own path, you're already living the dream just by doing that. And then as you pour the love into that dream, you become successful at it. It's going to grow, and it's going to be powerful and beautiful, and it's going to inspire other people to do the same thing.
Fantastic.
So
I love that. Yay.
Wow.
And for our audience out there, if anybody wants to find Fooble the Dragon online, where can they find out more information about you, Fooble?
All right. Well, the easiest way is through Facebook, Fooble the Dragon on Facebook. Also, I have a YouTube channel, Fooble the Dragon on YouTube. There's actually a video of me really breathing real fire. So if you want to come check it out. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. I really breathe fire. And I don't have my website up yet, but I just secured my domain name. It's thedragon.fun. And so I'm going to be making my website over the next few months. It's going to be really awesome. I'm excited.
Very cool.
Wow. So was Fooble the Dragon not available?
It probably was, but I'm gonna be kind of outsourcing some of my work to some other dragons. I'm gonna hire on some other dragon help, and so my email address is going to be fooble@thedragon.fun, and then there's gonna be other dragons that are gonna join me for other purposes.
That's
and so
perfect.
Very
so
cool.
we're gonna have a whole team of dragons starting coming up this year.
Well,
I think
and
Oregon
certainly-
Country Fair will be the reveal for my new assistant. She's an Earth Dragon. Her name is Teresita, and she's going to be making an appearance at Oregon Country Fair this year.
Very
that's
nice.
Amazing.
That's super exciting. So you're franchising.
Yeah, we're gonna outsource some of the work. Bring on some people to help. It's gonna be awesome.
That's the key.
Great.
Wow.
Well,
Amazing.
Good luck with that, Fooble, and we can't wait to hear an update. So have a wonderful time at the Oregon Country Fair, and say hi to the wizard for us. And thank you so much for joining us on the Ask a Bookkeeper show.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Ingrid and Penny, and Ask a Bookkeeper. And I want to give a shout out to the Lane Arts Council for helping me get all this going, because they've been such a wonderful help in helping to create what I do. So I love you guys. Good luck making your dreams happen. If you need some Dreamland assistance, just look me up. I'll see what I can do.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much, Fooble. It's really been a pleasure. Great to see you again.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.